Assassin's Creed is a game I used to be a die-hard fan of. I've played almost all the Ezio games and I've played all the way up until Assassin's Creed 3. The only games I haven't played is Assassin's Creed Brotherhood, Black Flag, Rogue Syndicate and Unity. The other Assassin's Creed games from Origins to Mirage I have not played due to a lack of personal interest. Other people like them, I don't. Assassin's Creed was never meant to be a game for everyone. Assassin's Creed was a game that was made for its fans, people who loved a really strong lore. Assassin's Creed used to have one of the strongest lores out of any game that I've ever played growing up. The first Assassin's Creed game was really good, and it was made back in 2007, which was a long time ago, and even as far back as then, the game was good. It being the first game though, it was not perfect. The game was rather clunky and rigid. It had its fair share of glitches too, but the game ran just fine on my PC back then, and I only had about 4 gigs of RAM and my MSI GeForce GTX 550 GPU. Those were the days, back when I was still a kid who got into gaming. The first Assassin's Creed game left me wanting more. The game had more of a to be continued ending, and I sat for so long wanting to play the second game and its sequels. I finally got to play Assassin's Creed 2 and I was hooked. The game went into more detail about everything, and Desmond Miles finally got to escape Abstergo, which is what we all wanted to see in the first game. Assassin's Creed 2 picked up right where the first game left off, which is what very few video games did back then, and even still to this day very few video games do this. I was obsessed with Assassin's Creed. After the second game and up until Assassin's Creed 3, I was a die-hard fan. I'm going to cut to the chase about the problems with Assassin's Creed, and let me start off by saying Assassin's Creed did not die when Desmond Miles sacrificed himself to save the world at the end of Assassin's Creed 3. The issue is a huge part of the modern day story died when Desmond died. The modern day had just got interesting, with Desmond becoming more and more like a modern day assassin. They were building up on the modern day story, but when Desmond died, the modern day story fell apart. They tried to carry on the modern day story without Desmond, and it really hurt the modern day storyline. The real Assassin's Creed fans have been really wanting a modern day game for a while now, and we still haven't had a full modern day Assassin's Creed game to this day, and they have had many opportunities to make a modern day Assassin's Creed game, but they have completely ignored the fan base. If you are someone who never really cared about the real Assassin's Creed, then you're probably the type of person who liked all of the games from Origins up to Mirage. These are the people who run to the defense of the new direction of the latest Assassin's Creed games and call you old for not liking the new Assassin's Creed game, for not having any nostalgia from the old games in them. Getting back to the modern day protagonist issue and storyline is that the modern day is supposed to link everything together. The modern day is the foundation, and look, Desmond's death was tragic, yes, but the game never had anyone good to replace him. After Assassin's Creed 3, when Desmond died, from Black Flag to Syndicate, there was no real modern day protagonist, just pretty much the same nameless and faceless player that served no purpose than just to watch cutscenes. This was experimented in the ending of Brotherhood, when Desmond went into a coma after the apple made him kill Lucy, and then in the next game, Revelations, Desmond is put back into the Animus and is put into a place called the Black Room for a pretty considerable amount of the game, and in there he meets Subject 16. The real fans want a modern day Assassin's Creed game that could link all the games together. If a game like this were to be made, it would need really good writing and gameplay. It would have to be an emotional journey of nostalgia, reminding you of everything you had been through with the past games, the characters, and maybe even the Pieces of Eden as well, playing a big part in such a game, hinting of why the Pieces of Eden are so important and what are the future plans of what to do with them. The new fans, or should I say casual gamers, only like the latest Assassin's Creed games because of graphics. The latest Assassin's Creed games have been dumbed down. The stories are always shallow and have almost nothing to do with the modern day. The lore has been dumbed down and the gameplay has been dumbed down for people who don't care about Assassin's Creed, because to them it's just another video game. The other big issue is the fact that Assassin's Creed games are becoming longer and are having very overly inflated playtimes. For example, the first Assassin's Creed game was only 15 hours, and that was full of good writing and gameplay. Assassin's Creed 2 was 19 hours, and that game felt way longer than the first game, even though it was only 4 hours longer. Brotherhood was 15 hours, still not bad. Now moving on to way later into the series, Unity was 17 hours, Syndicate was 18 hours. Then you get to when they changed the whole format, going to big expensive open world formats that most of the real fans hated. Origins is 30 hours. Odyssey is 45 hours and Valhalla is 60 hours, one of the longest games in the whole franchise. This game is longer than Skyrim. An Assassin's Creed game should never be that long, and this is why the quality is so bad, because they are stretching all their resources thin. The modern day is the only real thing I care about at this point. I need to know what's going on with the war between the Assassins and the Templars. Ever since they focused less on them, that's when the story started to fall apart. They even tried to replace Desmond in the modern day by bringing in a new protagonist called Layla Hassan. I checked online and it looks like people really don't like her. Just check the comments I found on Reddit. People are rather unhappy with the character, and I heard no mentions of wokeism or virtue signaling. People just don't seem to like her because she has bad writing and really didn't care when she was replaced by Basim. Basim appears to be the new modern day Assassin's Creed protagonist, and there isn't much information about him. He recently got his own game called Mirage, and people seem to like the game, but many are skeptical because the game was supposed to be like a tribute to the original Assassin's Creed games. The good thing is that Basim was a hidden one and has a lot of experience because technically he's an official assassin, so I am really interested to see how his knowledge, experience and skills as an assassin will help the fight against the Templars. The big open world maps are something the fans never really asked for, because real Assassin's Creed fans just want a good story and gameplay, because once people get the fast travel, most people are just going to fast travel to the main quests, because as most real Assassin's Creed games were not meant to be more than at least 20 hours, and as soon as it went over that, you get repetitive gameplay and a really drawn out story. My final thoughts are, Assassin's Creed was still the game fans loved back during Syndicate, that still had the nostalgic gameplay we grew up to. They should have just worked harder and better on a game like Syndicate, but that's not the only problem. They never focused enough on the stories and missed out on so many good games that they could have made. But there were so many issues between Ubisoft and the writers who created Assassin's Creed who left. This is another reason why Assassin's Creed is in the state it's in. They managed to get one of the old writers back called Darby McDevitt, who has been with Assassin's Creed for a long time, but let's hope that he can bring Assassin's Creed back to being a good video game again. And with that, this is the Chilly Man signing off. I thank everyone for watching. Peace out.